Okay, so welcome all and welcome. I hope you had a great weekend to my students that have been here and to new students that we have to welcome today. So really quickly, I'll just say that my name is Laila. I'll be your English teacher for the next 12 weeks. And yeah, so we're going to enjoy learning English together and do lots of activities. But let's get to know each other. So as I said, I'm Laila. I'm an English teacher. I'm from Australia, but my parents are Lebanese. But I am very Australian. So I'm very proud to say I'm Australian. I was born here, raised here, and I love this country. So this is my country. So I say I'm Australian. And yeah, I love teaching. I love swimming. I love exercising, anything to do with health, being outdoors, the hills. I love going for long drives to the hills. That's a lot of my free time, reading as well, and being in the garden. So that's me. So, but let's get to know you. So we're going to start with George. Ah, George. Okay, so do I call you George? Is that what you prefer? Which name you like me to call you? George? Okay, George. And where are you from, George? Ah, Colombia. Okay. How long have you been here in Australia?
Living yeah, 4 months.
4 months. Okay. Yeah. So, you find work and you're studying and you're studying.
Well, I work in the morning for air conditioning.
Oh, nice.
And working after weekend.
Yes.
Working in Uber in the night.
At night. Cool.
My favorite hobby is play soccer, play volleyball, uh, play. I listen to music.
Yes.
Different. The different. I prefer different sports.
And George, you did the check. And it's your name. Very much from Korea. Okay, nice to know you. Peter. Maybe not. Brian. Yes, Brian. So would you like me to call you Brian or Stephen?
Right.
Brian, okay. And where are you from, Brian? Colombia, viva Colombia. You've been here in Australia.
One.
Okay, for 1 month, yeah. And your hobbies and interests? Yes. Okay, cool. Right. Together. Can I say your name first? Stephen. Nice, we have H.
Is the song is
Thank you. Jimena? Jimena. So, sorry, I don't know how to say. Colombia, yes. And yes, what's your hobbies? One more. If same hobbies is play soccer, yeah, cook, watch movie, yes, busy with games, yes. Okay, good. Thank you. Savannah. Yes, that would be good. Are you ready to call your hand? Yeah. And where are you from, Savannah? Ah, Ecuador. Who's from Ecuador in our class? That's right. So you will have someone else from Ecuador here. He's coming soon. Because of Ecuador. And how long have you been in Australia? Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's good. On the front side. Yeah. And what are your hobbies and interests? You? Got it? You? Got it? Running. Yes. Yeah. Sleeping, yeah. Good. I like the sleeping. So running, how many miles or kilometers do you run? Or you don't count it, it's run?
¿Cuántos kilómetros has corrido como 8
Or 2 miles? Like 1 time a week, every day, every week. Every week? Yeah, that's cool. Okay, running. Is everyone? Wanted to say hi as well. We're starting with Sebastian. We just said, Sebastian, I'm from Tonic.
Sebastian, I'm from Holland.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah. Yeah. Zero. Yeah. Min.
My name's Min.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Oh. But then from Colombia,
But you in Perth before, so yeah, Lucas was in Perth, which is pretty that I was born in. Yeah, I can mention that. Yeah. Weather. There's more walls.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to be doing lots of activities in the textbook, and also we're going to be doing group activities. So for today, not for today, but let's just quickly talk about what do we do. So we have this book, and every week we do a unit. So this week we're at the beginning. We're right at the beginning, unit 1. Next week, unit 2. The week after, unit 3. And also, we also use Facebook. So if you have Facebook, just go in really quickly and like my page, Mindset English, because this is on Facebook. We always do some writing here. So if you come in here and you'll see a post, it says, I'll just pin it to the top, this one. So if you come to the page, you'll see in the top, it says, welcome, say hi. So click on this post. Do you have Facebook? Yeah, Facebook, or have Facebook, yeah? Because if not, it's okay. You don't have to do it. But if you do, come in. There's this post, so click on it and just add, where you're from, what's your name. You could see everybody else's. I will correct some of the English. But this is a good opportunity to come in and say hi and tell us something about yourself. Now also, so that's on Facebook. We also do lots of writing activities on here. So make sure you follow and like, and whenever I do a writing, I'll tell you to come here. So also we have Julian and Bivy who are online with us today. So hey guys. Sorry, I didn't hear. Hey Bivy.
Hi, teacher.
Hey Julian. How are you? How's it going? Going good? Did you have a good weekend? I hope you all had a good weekend. And Valeria, hi Valeria. Valeria, Julian, and Bivy are with us online. And yes, so Bivy, Julian, and Valeria, you just missed. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new people in the class today. From Colombia and Ecuador. Anyone Brazil? No, Colombia and Ecuador. So so you get to meet them next time when you come to class. Okay, but that's what we do. So you will see that, yeah, we just go through every week one unit, and your homework is the extra materials that I give every week. So this is your homework. We check it on Friday. So homework is this one, and we check it on Friday, and we have a test every Friday. Okay, there's a test every Friday. So because we're on unit 1, that's the homework. On Friday, we check it. We do the test on Friday, which is on unit 1. So that's really good because this unit is called people. So this is a good introduction to how do we introduce ourselves? You know, how do we make a correct sentence when we talk about ourselves and say what we do, how old we are, what's our name, how long we have been here. That's the hardest one that everybody gets their grammar confused on. So today we're going to be looking at people, unit 1. And I can see it says Dinya Helmstead is in Milne Bay, Papua New Guinea. She's a diver. So a diver is someone who swims deep into the water. So we know her job is a diver. We know her name is Dinah, and we know where she is. She's in Papua New Guinea, which is above Australia, a country above Australia. So let's listen to an interview with the photographer, the person who took the photo. And we have to match what's your name to one of these sentences. Where are you from? What's her name? Where's she from? Okay, so let's listen and answer question 2, which is on page 9 of your book.
Life, Elementary Students Book by John Hughes, with Paul Dummett and Helen Stevenson. Published by National Geographic Learning, a Cengage Learning Company. Copyright 2019. Track 1, Unit 1, Opener. What's your name? David Dubele. Where are you from? The USA. I'm a photographer for National Geographic. I really like this photo. Yes, it's in Milne Bay. And who's the diver in the photo? What's her name? Her name's Dinah Halstead. Where's she from? She's from Papua New Guinea. She's a diver, and she's also a photographer.
Okay, pretty simple conversation. So let's have a look at some of the answers. Now, I'll also take some notes in class, and I'll show you where you can find my notes. So my notes, that I take in class are also your notes. And you can find them. If you go to Facebook, you'll see I've got here, it says Padlet link. Now, if you click that one, it will take you to another, just click the link. So click, and it will take you here. Now you see here where it says section 2, unit, grammar, and notes. So that's all my notes that I write in class for all the units from unit 1 to unit 12. So you can click it, you can print them, you can do whatever you want. So that's Padlet, which I said that you could come to it from Facebook, which is just next to the welcome note, just here. And that's all my notes. So that's my notes here that you'll see on the side. So that's where you can find my notes. Okay, so let's answer the question. What's your name, number 1? What was the answer in D? David, yeah. So 1D, yeah, that's what he said. What's your name? He answered David Dubulet. Where are you from? Yeah. What's her name? So her, someone else. Her name's Dina Halstead.
Hello.
And hey, and where's she from? Papa, she's from Papua New Guinea. C. Yep. Okay, so we did introduction ourselves. I asked you, what's your name? Where are you from? And I asked you like extra question, what's your hobbies and interests? But that's good. We know how to introduce ourselves, say who we are and where we are from. It's very common always. That's how people meet each other. And that's really the first few things they'll say about themselves. So let's go to the next page. We have explorers. So explorers means people who go out, usually into the wild or into the nature, and they'll explore. They want to know something. They want to find out something. So we have let's have a look. We have the elephant and 2 people. And it looks like maybe they're in Africa. It says here, Derek and Beverly Joubert in Botswana, which is in Africa. So she is Beverly, he is Derek, and they are in Botswana, Africa. Yes, unit. So let's have a look at some of the questions. We're going to listen to an interview with Beverly and choose the correct answer. Okay, so let's listen again and answer some questions.
Track 2, Unit 1A.
Hello, what's your name?
My name's Beverly Joubert.
What's your job?
I'm a photographer for National Geographic, and I'm also an explorer and filmmaker. I'm married to the man in the photo.
What's his name?
My husband's name is Derek. He's also an explorer and filmmaker.
In the photo, you are in Australia. Are you from Australia?
No, we aren't. We're from Africa, and we live in Africa. Actually, this picture isn't in Australia. It's in Botswana.
Let's listen one more time and do number 2 and number 3. So we're going to listen again.
Track 2, Unit 1A.
Hello, what's your name?
My name's Beverly Javert.
What's your job?
I'm a photographer for National Geographic, and I'm also an explorer and filmmaker. I'm married to the man in the photo.
What's his name?
My husband's name is Derek. He's also an explorer and filmmaker.
In the photo, you are in Australia. Are you from Australia?
No, we aren't. We're from Africa, and we live in Africa. Actually, this picture isn't in Australia. It's in Botswana.
Okay, let's do the answers together. So Beverly Joubert is a photographer. Yep, that's her job. She takes photos. So she's a photographer. Derek Joubert is her husband. They are from Africa. Yep, so I hope you could hear all that information. Number 3, first name Beverly. We know the surname for number 1 is Joubert. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Joubert. Number 2, same, Joubert. Number 3, occupation, photographer. Derek is an explorer and filmmaker. Number 4, place of birth. Yep, so 4 and 5, they were both born in Africa. 6, are they married or single? Married, so married. Derek is married. The relationship, Beverly is a wife and Derek is, number 7, a husband. Yep, it's the U is like an A, so husband. Okay, let's look at some information about yourself. So you can fill it in the same thing, your name, your first name, your last name, your occupation, place of birth, are you married or single, and your relationship. So I have an example here. My name is Sylvia. I think this was from you, Sylvia, from last time. My name is X. You can put your surname there. I'm a student. I was born in whatever country, and I am whatever. That's full sentences of how I say it, but you're just writing it in, write in your answers. So just 1 minute, fill in the information for yourself. Your name, surname, your job or occupation, your place of birth. Are you married or single? And your relationship. Okay, good. So now we're going to be talking about the verb to be. So this is a very important verb. There's 2 important action words in English. One of them is to be, and one of them is to have. To be is really important, especially when you're talking about yourself and introducing yourself and giving information about yourself. So be, if I put it with a subject, so we need a subject first. First of all, we're talking about the present. So the moment now when I talk about myself, not yesterday, last night, last year. I'm talking about myself now in the moment. So it's the present. And we make the sentence by putting a subject, which is I, you, he, she, it, we, or they. And then we add the verb to be. And then we can add stuff after it, like our name, our age, the country we're from, our job, occupation. We can add the location, our nationality, adjectives. We could give information about ourselves, our religion, if we're married, or an action verb that has a feeling to it. So subject, I am. But if it's he, she, it, we say he, she, it is. And if it's we or they, we say we are, they are. So that's how you change to be. You need to put one of these first. And then plus, as I said, your name, your age, your country. I mean, you could just keep giving more information. So that's how we create that sentence. And to make it a negative, we just add not. So for example, I am not Maria. I am not Brazilian. I am not a doctor. So I just add not. So after the subject, I, and I have to use am because I am is connected together. I am not, and then whatever information I wanted to give. Name, age, country, nationality. Hey? Yeah. I don't speak English. I am not is connected only if you're giving your name, age, country, or job, not a verb. So just be careful. So it's I don't speak English. But I am not, yeah, I'm not an English speaker if you want. That would be a proper sentence. I'm not Australian. I'm not an English speaker. And I'll just give you some examples before we learn more rules. So I'm a photographer. So it had here I as the subject and am, but you can connect them together. And that's called a contraction. So when we connect the subject and the verb to be, it's I'm. You, we, they're married. So same thing, we can connect they are and it becomes their. And he, she, it, you add it to the S. So you could say she's. Remember we heard in the beginning, she's a photographer. She's from Papua New Guinea. So that's connecting the subject to the verb to be. She is, she's. And the negative, I'm not a journalist. They aren't married. So that's the same thing. It's connecting are and not. They aren't married. He, she, it isn't from South Africa. And to make a question, you have to start with the verb first of all. So we put the am, is, are first, and then the subject, and then whatever information you want to talk about. Name, age, location. So that's how you make a question. So, or if it's not the am, is, are, you put one of the 6 W's. So you can put one of the 6 W's first. So what's your name? Where are they from? Now, if you do put the 6 W's, like what, where, why, when, who, which, and then the 1 H, how, you put is, am, are, and then the subject. How old is he? Are you from Botswana? And to respond, yes, I am. No, I'm not. So whenever you hear a question with, is she from Colombia? Are we, whatever? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Is she single? Yes, she is. No, she isn't. Okay, so now that we know the rules, let's look at the grammar box, which is above. It says affirmative. Affirmative means a positive sentence. It's got a subject, an action, and it's a positive. It's not a negative with not. It's a positive sentence like, I am Laila. I am from Australia. That's an affirmative. It's just a statement, a sentence. A negative is, I am not Maria. So in the affirmative, we have I am, you are, he is. In the negative, I'm not, we aren't, she isn't. Yep. In a question, are you whatever? Are you Maria? Are you from Brazil? Are you a lawyer? Yeah. Or is he John? Is he from USA? Is he a doctor? And the short answer, yes, I am. Yes. Yes, it is. No, you aren't. No, he isn't. No, he isn't. Okay, number 6, choose the correct form. So let's do this as A will be Gustavo and B will be Anna. Yep, so A, Gustavo. Yes. So are you married? So your next one is yes. I am. Yep. My wife's name. She isn't. She isn't here today. Yep. What's her job? Yep. I'm also a teacher.
Are you both from the United Kingdom? No,
Yeah, no, we aren't.
How old?
Yeah.
Because you're so
Yes, good. I felt like it was a little bit hard there, especially with the contraction. Hello. Are you Victor? Yes, come in. Do you have this book, Victor? Do you have this book? No? Okay, you can come get the book. Okay, there you go. Nice to meet you. I'm Laila. Yes, I know. I was waiting for you. Yes. So, so everyone, we have Victor. We were waiting for Victor to come. Victor, where are you from? Ah, Brazil. Okay. And how long have you been in Australia for? Wow, tomorrow will be 1 month. Okay, cool. So welcome, welcome. We're just saying really quickly. So welcome. So yes, so I noticed when Anna was reading before, she had a little bit of problem when she was connecting the I'm, your, his, she's, it's, where, there, and then when the negative. So that's maybe what became a little bit hard. But once you remember it, it becomes easy. So you just got to repeat it to yourself. I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, they are. And then say it in the connected way, and then say it with the negative. I'm not, you're not, he isn't, she isn't, it isn't, we're not, they're not. Okay, so let's go to this part. That's what we're learning about, the contracted form. So so we're going to listen, and you're going to tick if you hear that it's the connected form. So on this side is the connected I'm, your, I'm not, his, its, she's, aren't, are, where, or there, isn't, and his, its, she's. Or is it not the connected form? So you got to tick which one you hear. Okay, let's listen.
Track 4, Unit 1A. 1.
Okay, let's listen again. So again, you were listening if you heard the connected form, which is called the contracted form, or not. Did you hear the separated between the subject, the verb, and the negative? So let's listen again.
Track 4, Unit 1A. 1.
I'm 31.
2.
Are you from England?
3.
No, I'm not.
4.
Her name's Helena.
5.
We aren't from the USA.
6.
We're from Canada.
7.
No, he isn't.
8.
Is he married?
Okay, the first one, I'm. It did it for us. What did we hear in the second one? Ah, without the contraction? Yeah, ah, we just heard ah in that sentence. Whatever the sentence was, we heard it separated. The verb to be was just are, which is, remember, we are, they are. Hey, Italo. So how about with the negative? Thank you. Did we hear I'm not or I am not? I'm not. It was actually the connected one. I'm not. So I'm not. How about number 4? Did we hear his, its, or is separate? Yeah, I don't remember the subject, but we heard it connected. So it's that one. So I don't know if it was she's, his. We heard the connected one. Number 5, in the sentence, did we hear aren't or the separated are not? Aren't. Yeah. Aren't. Did we hear in number 6 are, where or there, or did we hear are? We heard the connected. So was it, I forgot the subject, but where, your, it would have been your actually. Where or there. Actually, I don't know which connected. Because that could be we are, they are, we, you are. So I don't know, I can't remember the subject, but it was the connected one. Number 7, isn't. We heard the contracted, isn't. And number 8, is. We heard it separated. The verb to be, am, is, are, we heard it separated, is, not connected to the subject. Okay, so does that make sense? So when you make a sentence, we're talking about in the present moment, we're using the verb to be, which is ser in Portuguese or estar in Spanish. So you put a subject first, which is I, you, he, she, it, we, they, and then you put the verb to be, but you need to know I am, he is, she is, we are, they are, and it is. So that's what you do. And to make the negative, you add not after the verb. So I am not. And we talked about how to make questions. Okay, so that was really simple. We use the verb to be when we need to give information about our name, our age, the country that we're from, our job, our location, our nationality. So I am Brazilian, our religion, like I am whatever. If we're married or not, I am married. And we can use it for verbs that have a feeling, like I am happy, I am sad. I call them emotive actions, verbs. So that's when we use the verb to be. If you want to talk about any other action, do not say be. You have to say I studied, I study, I enjoy, I prefer, I speak. So only use am, is, are when you're speaking about these things. Name, age, country, job, location, nationality, religion. Okay, let's have a look at a conversation. So number 8, we have a conversation. We're going to listen and put the correct form of to be, am, is, are, in the present. Because in the past, they're different words. So it's a conversation. Let's listen and fill in the answers.
Track 5, Unit 1A. Good afternoon. Are you in New Zealand for work or a holiday?
For work. I'm a photographer.
I see. What's your address in Auckland?
We're at 106A Eddington Road.
We?
Yes, I'm with my wife and 2 children. They're here.
Ah. Is your wife also a photographer?
Yes, she is. But she isn't in Auckland for work. She's here for a holiday.
One more time.
Track 5, Unit 1A. Good afternoon. Are you in New Zealand for work or a holiday?
for work. I'm a photographer.
I see. What's your address in Auckland?
We're at 106A Eglinton Road.
We?
Yes, I'm with my wife and 2 children. They're here.
Ah. Is your wife also a photographer?
Yes, she is. But she isn't in Auckland for work. She's here for a holiday.
Okay, so we're gonna have Lewis is A and B is Min. Yeah, yeah.
What are you in New Zealand for work only or holiday?
I'm a photographer. Photographer.
What is your address?
What's connected? Yes, so it's very important. The same way you heard it. What's your address in Auckland?
We are on
Yeah, so where, so not the separated we are, but where at 106A Eglinton Road. That's where we live. Yeah. No, you're, yeah. We. So when we ask when we have a question, maybe maybe it's like Spanish. You know how you have to change your voice to different to just we. It's a question is like we, so it becomes like that. So we, like, because you're interested to know, you and someone else, like we. So yeah, and then Min says yes.
with my wife and two children.
There. Yeah, so it's very important to know the pronunciation of the connected one. There. Yeah, there, here. Yes, but we need to push, because it's the start of the sentence and it's a short word, you have to push it a lot stronger. Is your wife also a photographer? So you see how my voice was high so that she could hear, I said is, a very short little word. So you got to push your voice and not go too fast on that very first word. So is your wife also a photographer?
Yeah. But
Isn't?
even in a plan for work.
She's
Here for a holiday.
yeah, good. Okay, good. So now I'm going to give you a few minutes to do number 9. So, but you're going to write them as full sentences, because I'm going to pick you and you might have to say, my name is Laila, my surname is whatever, I am a student. So write these information for yourself and then we'll come and check it in a moment. Okay, so number 9, make sure you write full sentences. Know how to make a full sentence, subject, verb, and then that information. Use the correct form of to be. And if you want to connect it, then you can. I'm Laila or I am Laila. But you've got to pronounce the connected part correctly. I'm Laila. Okay, we'll come back in 2 minutes. Okay, so let's see. So these were the questions that we're looking at. So what's your name? What's your surname? Are you a student? What's your job? Where are you from? How old are you? And are you married? So I'm going to ask some people in class. I'm going to go with all new students. So Brian. Yes. So tell us full sentences.
My name is Brian. My last name is Bologna.
Mhm.
I am a student.
I am a student.
I the fourth question. I work in the present simple.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
In this moment, I don't have a job.
Yeah. So I don't, I see, you use the present simple. Yeah. I am not, yeah, I'm not working, but that's using the present continuous. So yes, I don't have a job. You could go with, at the moment, I don't have a job. Yep, good.
I am from Colombia.
Yep.
And I am making this work.
Oh, wow, you're a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm single.
And you're single. Okay, I think you're the youngest student. I think. Okay, how about Victor? Mhm. I am a student. So you just got to separate the sound in your voice. I am a student. Yep. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm not married. Oh, I am married. Yes. So because this, did you see how I didn't hear it very well? So how do we do that? Because they are very short words. You have to not say them too fast. Or then I thought you said I'm not. So it's I am married. So you just got to separate your sounds and push the little short words a lot more. So I am married. Yes. Yeah, not I am married, but I am married. Yeah, good. Thank you. Sorry, George. Yes. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Mm-hmm. In air conditioning, yeah. Yep. Or I work for an air conditioning company, maybe. I work for an air conditioning company. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I am from Colombia.
Yeah. And last question, are you married? Yes. No, I'm single. Yes. Good. Thank you. Jimena? Yes. Okay, tell us. Mm-hmm. We don't want to use the present continuous. So I am a student or I am an English learning student. So if you want, I am an English learning student. Sorry, that shouldn't be capital. So we don't want to change we're using the verb to be, and I don't want to use the continuous. I don't want to say I am studying English, because yes, we can use a different tense to talk about the same information, but I am an English learning student. Yep. Yep. So I am a house cleaner. So we want to try and practice using I am. So you said I am a house cleaner. Yeah, good. Sorry, a housekeeper. Yeah. Yeah, I am a housekeeper. Yep. Yes. I'm 31 years old. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. And we have Anna. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I am studying English. Yeah, we could do that. That's with the present continuous. Or again, I'm an English learning student. Yeah. I'm not. I don't have a job. So I know this one we had to change the grammar. I don't have a job. I am, maybe we'll go with the continuous. I am not, because I want to practice that verb to be. So maybe, yeah, we'll go with I am not working. So same for you. I am not working. It is the present continuous. That's fine. It still has to be. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And I'm single. Yeah, good. So I would have said and for the last one, and then I knew you were finished. Yeah, good. So I know we didn't have time for everyone, but I hope you realize, just try and use the verb to be. I am. I know there's other ways to say it, but we want to practice I am. Okay, good. Let's go to the next page. So we have, and if you ever want to write, what's your full name? For who? That's a good question. What's your full name? Is also to put both of them together? Yes. What's your full name? Okay, a family in Kenya. So we have, is your family big or small? So small usually is when you have maybe one brother, one sister, but big is like when you have 3 sisters, 4 brothers. It depends what people think is big. Who has a huge family? Lots and lots of brothers and sisters. No? Yeah. Oh, so you only have one, so that's a small family. Yeah. Anyone big? Big family? So your family is how, tell us. Your one big family, your neighbor, your cousins, your uncle, the neighbors, one big family. Yes, I know what you mean. That's amazing. I like that because you come from a nice small village maybe, and you know the people is like all like family, so that's good. Okay, we're going to read about the Leakey family. So this is a family in Kenya. And we're going to answer the questions in 2 and 3. Okay, so let's read together. So I'll read first and then you can repeat after me, sentence or, you know, small words by small words. Okay, so we have okay, a family in Kenya. So you can repeat after me. Yeah, in Kenya. The Leakey family lives in Kenya. Louise Leakey is an explorer, but for her family, that's normal. Louise's mother is more, or me, I don't know, and she's an explorer. Lewis's father is Richard Leakey. Richard is also in Kenya, and he's a conservationist. Richard's half-brother is Colin Leakey. Colin isn't in Africa. He's retired and he lives in England. Lewis's grandparents, Lewis and Mary, are dead, but they were always also famous explorers. Lewis's sister is Samira. Their uncle and aunt are Philip Leakey and his wife, Catty. They have an international company. Okay, so we have words like half-brother, conservationist, and retired. So a half-brother is when you have one of the same parent and then a different parent. So that's a half, because you got half the blood. Like, think of it like that, half the blood. So, for example, it's like someone's father married another woman and then had a child with two different women. So those children would be half brothers because they have the same father. Conservationist is a job. It's someone who looks after nature. And retired means when you don't work anymore, but not as a young person. It's when you're old and, you know, like you're at that age where the government doesn't want you to work. So you're retired. So not just I don't work, it means I'm retired. Retired means you stopped working for the rest of your life. So usually it's when you're old. That's why. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to answer number 2 and do number 3. You've got a family tree. So you're going to fill in, reread the information and put in the family that you could see. So we'll come back in 5 minutes because we'll do questions 2 and 3. So in 5 minutes, come back. Okay, so let's check. We should have been pretty easy. So where are the Leakey family from? Sorry, not where they're from. Where are the Leakey family? Where are they in the world? They're in Kenya. Yeah. If you want a full sentence, they are in Kenya. At the moment, now, they are in Kenya. So they, because it's the plural, we're talking about many people. They, it's more than one person. They are in Kenya. Are Lewis and Mauve explorers? Yes, they are. So anytime you have yes, you put a comma after yes. So yes, they are. What is Richard's job? Conversationalist. It's a long word. So if you want con, then put like a dash. Conversation. Ist. So that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, conversationalist. And if you say it faster, conversationalist. Yeah, but that's how you pronounce it. So he works in nature, remember? And what is Colin's job? He's retired. So he's finished working for his life. He's old, he's finished working. He doesn't want to work anymore. He is retired. Is Philip married? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Is Catty an explorer? No, she's not. Okay, so in the family tree, we have Lewis, and who's number 1? Mary. Yep, so that's his wife. Because when they're together like that, that means Lewis is married to Mary. And what Lewis has a child, but not with Mary. What's his name? Number 2. Colin. And they have 2 children. Philip and number 3, Richard. Number 3 is Richard. So they have 2 kids, Philip and Richard, because Lewis has a child from another woman. And Richard is married to number 4. Yeah, Mauve, I think in English. Mauve. And they have 2 children, Lewis and number 6, Samira. And Philip, one of the sons, is married to number 5, Caddy. Or Katie. Yeah, Catty. Yeah, you can pronounce it either way. Okay. The next page. So we've learned to talk about, to read and know who's married to someone, if they're a child, if they are married, husband, wife, father. So let's look at some more family vocab. So we have aunt, cousin, father, grandparent, half brother, mother, mother-in-law, nephew, niece, parent, stepbrother, uncle. So which ones do you kind of understand them all? Niece is if your sister or brother has a daughter. So that's your niece, because you're an auntie to that girl, because it means your sister or your brother has a daughter. Yeah. Yeah. So niece, any other ones that you're not familiar? If you're not too sure, make sure you're familiar with these vocab. But let's talk about them. So your father's brother and sister, who are they? Yeah, they would be your uncle and aunt. Yeah, we say auntie, uncle. Yeah, your aunt or auntie. So aunt or auntie. I use auntie. I use that one, auntie. If your brother's daughter and son, if your brother has a daughter and son, who would they be to you? Nephew and niece. Nephew is for the male, niece is for the girl. And your uncle and aunt's son or daughter, who are they to you? Your cousins. Yeah. A brother, but from one different parent. Half brother, because you remember you share half the blood, half brother. And your husband or wife's mother. Your mother-in-law. Your mother or your father will be your parents, both of them. So parents are 2 people, your mom and your dad, your parents. And your parents' mother or father would be your grandparents. Okay, so pretty easy vocab to do with family. There's lots more, but these are just very common. Your auntie, your cousin, your father, your grandfather, your grandparents. So make sure you understand and know family vocab. Yeah. Well, your stepbrother is you don't have any blood. So it's like if one man married a woman and they already have children, so they didn't have children together, then those children are stepbrothers and sisters. So that means that the mother and the father didn't have kids themselves. They already had children from another marriage. So that's step. So there's no blood because your dad just met this other woman and her kids are your step sister or brother. Because if that's your father, then she's not your mother. Yeah. Okay, so we have this part is just trying to tell us that you can put two words together to make grandmother, stepmother, mother-in-law. But the root word is usually the mother. You look at the last part. So if I said grandmother, you can tell it comes from my mum's side. If I said stepmother, I can tell that she must be the woman that married my father. She's my stepmother. And my mother-in-law, so I look at the mother part, she must be the mother to my husband. Okay, we have a few more minutes before the break. We have something called the possessive, adjective, and the possessive. So what do they mean? The first one is if a noun belongs to someone or something, an object, an item belongs to someone. So if this is my pen, I say this is it's my pen. But if it's his pen, it's their pen. It's something that belongs to someone or something. But the other one is when I say the subjects become different. It's not I, becomes my. It's not you, becomes your. It's not he, she, it. It's his, her, its. It's not our, sorry, it's not we, it's our. It's not your, it's your. And it's not they, it's their. So when do I need to use these ones? Well, the first one we learned we use a subject and a verb. This one is when we have a noun. So not the first rule that we learned, because this subject was I, you know, he, she, it. So that's how we know to use the first one. But I don't want to use that first one because I'm not talking about a verb or you know, my age, my location, my nationality. I want to talk about a noun, like this book is mine. It's my book. So I'm talking about a noun, not an action. You know, this phone is his. The phone is his. So you see how we have to use possessive adjectives? So that's how we use them when we talk about an object. So now we're learning this new rule to talk about an object, not to talk about an action with M is R like we did before. Now we're talking about a noun, an object, something that I own. It's not an action. It's something that's it could be something that I can touch or not touch, like the sky, the book, the table, the pen, the phone, whatever. So if we're looking, filling this in, Mike's wife is a teacher. So I use here is, because remember when we're talking about Mike, the noun is wife. So his wife, Mike's wife is a teacher. Mike and Sally's home is in Canada. So instead of saying he is wife, because I don't only use he is, Mike is. If I'm saying Mike is Brazilian, Mike is a lawyer, Mike is 30 years old. But because I added a noun, I said Mike's wife. So that's like saying his wife is a teacher. So it comes from this one, his, not is. This is not is. This is his. Because there's a noun, not a verb after. So that's the rules there, which we just talked about. But let's put it into practice. So if I said I parents or my parents are Spanish? My, because I'm not saying I am Laila, I am 30 years old, I am whatever. I'm talking about a noun. My parents are Spanish. So my parents are Spanish. Number two, is it I am the only boy in the family or my am the only boy in the family? I am, because I know I use I am when I give information about my age, my location. How many people in my family? Where are you from or where are you from? Where are you? Yeah.
Sure. Part three.
Did I miss number three? What's your name or what's your name? What's your name? Yeah, what's your name? Because there's a noun, that's not an action. So I have to use your here, not you. What's you name? Because remember, you is only where are you from? What's your, yeah, where are you from? But I'm talking about your name. Where are you from or where are you from? Yeah, it's hard to say the wrong one. I get confused. Where are you from? Is it she is a photographer or her is a photographer? She, I need to use the subject because I've got is the verb to be. So she is. He uncle or his uncle? His, there's a noun. That's a noun there. We, family is in Asia or our family is in Asia? Because there's a noun, not a verb, it's a noun. They cousins are both girls or their cousins are both girls? Their cousins. Yep. Okay, so the same thing as we did before. We're going to listen to an audio, see if you hear the connected there or this there, which actually has the same sound. Is it his or his? Is it, sorry, you're not picking which one. You're seeing if the sound is the same. It's, our, your, and your. Okay, so if they sound the same, put a tick. If they don't, put an X. Okay, let's listen.
Track 7, Unit 1B. 1. There. There. 2. He's. His. 3. It's. 4. Are. 5. You.
I'll play it one more time.
Track 7, Unit 1B. 1. There. There. 2. He's. His. 3. It's. 4. Are. 5. You.
Okay, in the first one, there and there, did they sound the same? Yeah, they did exactly the same. So I'm going to put a tick. Exactly the same they sounded. Okay. His and his, did they sound the same? Different, exactly. I'll put an X, different. Its and its, yeah, the same. And our and our, different. And your and your, the same. Okay, so I hope you can hear the difference. Let's rewrite these sentences. So the first one is, my name's Fabian. What would number 2 be? Her sister is Claire. Her sister is Claire. So because we've got the noun now, so her sister is Claire, not she sister is Claire. Only if I'm saying she is from Colombia, she is 30 years old, she is a lawyer, but I'm talking about a noun. So her sister is Claire. And number 3?
Their cousins are Julian and Kevin.
Their cousins are Julian and Jane. Juliet and Jane. Number 4? Are dead. Number 5, it's a question. Is your name Sylvian? Sylvine? Number 6. We have a niece. Her name is Helen. So our niece is Helen. Okay, we have another audio. So you're going to fill in the words with her, his, my, their. Okay, so let's listen and fill that in.
Track 9, Unit 1B. My family lives in Australia. My mother is from Ireland, and her 3 sisters, my aunts, live there. My father is from Australia, and he's a businessman. My sister's name is Orla, and she's a teacher. She's married, and her husband is Tim. He's also a teacher. Their children are Rory and Jack. My best friend is Peter. His father and my father have a company together.
Okay, so the first one, my family lives in Australia. My mother. Yeah. So he's talking about something that he owns, because that's why it's called possessive, something that is yours. My mother, not I mother, because I'm talking about a noun that is mine, an object. So my mother is from Ireland, and her 3 sisters, so in brackets he's saying who are my auntie, live there. My father is from Australia, and his, so remember that is he is, because we know we use the verb to be when we talk about a job, and he's a businessman. My sister's name is Orla, and she's a teacher. So that's again from she is married, and her husband. So not she husband, because that's a noun. I'm not talking about her job, her age, her location. I'm talking about something that is hers. So I have to say her husband is Tim. He's also a teacher. There. Not they, because I'm not saying they are from Colombia, they are 30 years old, they are lawyers. I'm saying a noun. So their children are Rory and Jack. My best friend is Peter. His father and my father have a company together. His. Okay, so we're going to do number 12. So what you have to do, pick a person, because you're going to write five sentences, or you can change the subject, or you can write 5 sentences about one person. So for example, Karina is my best friend. She's from Argentina. Stefan and Ilona are my 2 cousins in Germany. They're my mother's nephew and family. So you can choose to talk about your family members. So what I'm going to do to make it easier, if you do, first of all, for the new students that have come, we're going to have a break for 30 minutes. So we come back at 7:30. In that time, you can come and do your welcome. So make sure you come and write your welcome message. If you haven't already, for whoever are students here, you can come in and also write, and I can check your English here. And then I'll put a new post now, which will be for this one. Write 5 names. I'm just going to say, tell us about your family members. So you can choose to talk about one person. So doing the same thing, using subject and the verb to be. So, you know, you could say, my sister is Maria. She is a teacher. She's in Colombia, or whatever. So you can tell us about one of your family, or maybe a few people, like the example. So I'll put that post now. Okay, so you can do that, and we'll come back and look at it, and I'll correct the English. So new students, you've got 2 things to do. Do your welcome note, which is here. And you can also come in and look at Padlet, get familiar with knowing where to find my notes. So remember, this is where you can find my notes and just some extra things. Have a look around. And also, I just closed Facebook. And also, don't forget to come do this new post. Tell us about your family members. So using the grammar that we learned today, the subject verb with the verb to be, to talk about job, location, the age, what they look like. No, actually, only do what you know so far from the grammar that you've learned. So try not to add too much information, just only from the grammar that we have learned today. Okay, so we'll do that, and we'll come back and have a look at it. And yes, then we'll continue to the next part, which is the face of 7 billion people. Okay, so I'll see you all after the break. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the writing that we did and look at the English. So let's go to the introduction first. So I'm only going to go just to the new ones for now. Okay, so I don't see any new ones. So if you're a new student, don't forget to write your introduction. Okay, that's in that post. But let's look at the post today. So tell us about your family members. Tell us about your family members. So Bivy says, first of all, Mum, Bivy, you've got to use the Australian spelling, M-U-M. So remember, that's the Australian spelling. So my mum's name is Lucy, and she lives with my younger sister and my 2 dogs, Luna and Lupe. Good sentence, perfect. My family is a little big. Maybe a full stop, not a comma. So you know to put a full stop because the next word is a subject. And remember, every sentence has one information in it. So my family is a little big. I have 3 older sisters, and they live with their husbands. I am also the aunt of 7 nephews. Wow. So she has 7 nephews. That's so cute. They all live in Colombia. Perfect. So you're a family of 5 girls, is that right, Vivi? So your mom and dad have 5 daughters? Yes, wow. That's amazing. No boys. Yeah, that's so beautiful. You got lots of sisters.
No boy teacher.
No boys, no. I have an uncle and an auntie. They have 6 daughters. 6. So the boy never come. It's interesting. And are you very close with all your sisters?
Sorry, teacher?
Are you close with your sisters? So that means, do you have a good relationship with your sisters? Are you like very close? Good friends, good sisters?
Yes, teacher.
That's good. That's good. Okay, Adriano. My family is made up of my parents, 2 sisters, Maria and Priscilla. So always put a comma after when you're introducing names. So I know you already have a comma here, but you still need a comma when you introduce names. So my family is made up of my parents, 2 sisters, Maria and Priscilla, and my nephew. How do you pronounce this name? Juan. I like it. It's very interesting. Juan. It's very hard for me. Jo.
Good.
Joam.
Yeah.
Joam. Nice. And my nephew Joam, do they all live? Who all live in Brazil. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Min says, I think I didn't, 1 second. So Min says, my family is a big family. So again, full stop. Or my family is a big family who all live together. Yeah, so you don't need to say in a house. You can just who all live together. Min's not here. So my family is a big family. Now with Min, she didn't have a connecting word. She put a comma, and that's not the right way to use a comma. So you could use connecting words like who, which, that. So because we're talking about people, my family is a big family who all live together. You don't need to say in a house. Like you can just put who all live together. My grandfather, so she's got the subject he. You already said the subject. So my grandfather is 90 years old, full stop. He is very strong. And my parents, so she should have had an S, unless she said, and one of my parent, and my dad, and my mom. And my parents, so again, she's repeated the subject. You don't need to repeat the subject. And my parents are over 60 years old. Full stop. My brother and my 2 younger sisters. So I don't understand that sentence. I think my family is a big family who all live together. Maybe I have my grandfather, who is 90 years old, is very strong, comma. My parents, who are over 60 years old, comma. My brother and my 2 younger sisters. So maybe that's how she can explain that family. She made it a very long sentence, but it's possible. So she said, my family is a big family who all live together. My grandfather, who is 90 years old, is very strong. My parents, who are over 60 years old. My brother and my 2 younger sisters. So she should have had an S, plural for sisters. I have one boy and one girl. They are all very good. So she could again use a connecting word. I have one boy and one girl who are both very good and study well. We say study hard, and who are very good and study hard. So good, beautiful sentence. Next sentences, we have Jonathan. I have a small family. I would put a full stop. I have a small family. Jocelyn is my daughter. She is in Colombia and she is 7 years old. Wow, I had no idea, Jonathan. You have a 7-year-old daughter. She's in Colombia and she is 7 years old. If you want, you can take off repeating the subject, especially after and. She's in Colombia and is 7 years old. My mother is 50 years old and lives, so you can go for the present simple, always go present simple first, and lives in Colombia also with her husband. So you got to remember her for female with her husband. My brother, again, I might pick lives in Mexico. My brother lives in Mexico and is 30 years old. Our family is very funny. Yeah, we usually say our family. So you're saying like your family is they always have fun, they laugh. Is that right? Your family, they always like have fun and laugh. See, is that right? So you could say we are a fun family. So that's maybe more of a better sentence. We are a fun family. Yeah, so I have a small family. Jocelyn is my daughter. She's in Colombia and is 7 years old. My mother is in Colombia also with a husband. My brother lives in Mexico and is 30 years old. We are a fun family. Yeah. Oscar. Yeah. Sorry? Refresh, because maybe it's the old one. Okay. Yeah, I wish it would refresh. Yeah. Okay, so Oscar. My family is small. My parents are in Bucaramanga, Colombia. So we usually if you put the city, comma, and then the country, full stop. So you shouldn't really be putting a comma. That's a new sentence. So my family is small. My parents are in Colombia. My mother is that an I? M-I? Mireya. She is 49 years old and married. My father, Oscar. So again, when you introduce a name, comma, before and after the name. My father, Oscar, is 72 years old. My sister, again, comma, Jennifer, lives in Spain. She has 2 children. Now, because you said the name of the children, you can put a comma, Emmanuel and Antonella. Good. So a little bit of the grammar with the commas, but very good sentence. Victor. My family is small. I have 2 brothers and they live with my mother. My mother is 63 years old and her name is Maria. My parents are divorced, so my father lives in another place. They all live in Colombia. They all live in Brazil. Is that right? Victor? Yes? So they all live in Brazil? Yeah, so I might have just added all there because it kind of made the the flow of the sentence nice. Juanita. So my family, and I love your emojis that you always use. My family is small. My mother's name is Amalia and my father is Carlos. They have, you don't need a, because a is only for singular. So they have 2 girls. My sister. So again, because you're introducing a name, comma, before and after. My sister Lucy and I. My nephew, you've got 2 is here. So I can take off the first, so I can make it my nephews. And again, we're introducing a name, so comma before, comma after. My nephew, but I like it separated. My nephew is Juan Angel. Ah, yes. So my nephews are Juan and Angel. Ah, I see. Juan Angel and Julian. And my niece is Victoria. I have, so again, you've put the a. Yeah, so you can't, because a is only singular. I have 1. It's like saying 1. So I have 2 half-brothers, Tatiana and Carlos. They are married. We're from Colombia. Good. I like, interesting that everybody is using one of the vocabs. So we saw here the half-brothers. Very interesting. So that means that Juanita's, she didn't say, is that your dad that married another person? Yeah, so yes. Ah, it was from before. So you could say, I have 2 half brothers. Tatiana. Tatiana is a boy's name? Ah, so I have 2 half siblings. Because if you said brothers, they're meant to be boys. So siblings means we don't know if it's male or female. So that's how you do it when it's mixed. So you see how I got confused and I said, oh, Tatiana is a boy's name because I know it's a girl's name. So you have to say half siblings when it's a mixed. Because we don't want to say half sisters because Carlos is a boy. We can't say half brothers because Tatiana is a girl. So I have 2 half siblings. You could say from my father. So sorry, they're not, they're step because you're not, you said that your dad already has 2 kids and then he met your mom and then had you.
Yeah.
So you're not half siblings. Yeah, step. I would go for step because you're not, you don't share. Sorry, you do. You share the father. Sorry. Sorry, yeah, you share the father. Yeah. So I have 2 half siblings, Tatiana and Carlos, from my father. From my father's side. They are married and we're from Colombia. Okay, good. Thank you. George. So yeah, my family is smaller. Now, because you said small, it means you're comparing it to who?
Okay, very big.
Yeah, so I might just go with small because you're not saying my family is smaller compared to George's family or something like that. So sorry, compared to someone else. So my family is small, maybe full stop. My sister is Jennifer. I might do, and she's 27 years old. Full stop. She's a supervisor in a hotel. So full stop. My brother, in-law. So that has to be one word. My brother, brother-in-law, you have to put these little dash. So very important. Did you see how I wrote brother-in-law? You have to put those little dash. My brother-in-law is 32 years old and he works in an air conditioning company. And he works again, and he works for an air conditioning company. Okay, good. I'll just refresh. So I think that should be almost everyone. Is this, who's this one? Oh, is that you, Anna? Okay, yes, because the name, yes. So Anna writes, my family is small. I have two brothers, Hector and Eduardo. So if you want, you don't need to put the brackets. You can just put the comma. So my family is small. I have two brothers, Hector and Eduardo, one sister, Jenny, and four nephews, Mali. How do I pronounce this name? That's so nice. Jessio. I like this name. Is it a girl name? Is it girl? Oh, is it? Ah, Jessio. So Mali, Jessio, Santiago, and Rafaela. Everyone lives in the city, Vinces, Ecuador. So again, when you put a city, you put the name of the city first, comma, and then the country. Everyone, I would say we all, I mean, I know you're here now, but we all live in the city, Ecuador. Okay, good. So I think that looks like everyone. If you're still Sebastian, are you still writing? I come back. Okay, I'll come back. And okay, we have a long one. Let's have a look. This is, so my family is, we say small, we don't say little. My family is small. My grandfather died. You just need to, the present simple. So only use was if you're talking about name, age, location. You're just using another verb. So go straight for the verb. My grandfather died in 2004. My grandmother, so again, there's a name, so comma before the name and comma after the name. So is, we use the verb is to talk about age. So my grandmother, Carmen, is 93 years old. Now, what's the subject here? They live in Colombia. So they live in, so cities, capital, they live in Colombia. My parents, so again, name, so we need comma before, comma after. My parents, Teresa and Victor, live in Bogota, Colombia. My mother is 54 years old and is not working, full stop. My father is 57 years old and works in construction. I have one sister, comma before the name, comma after the name, Yuli, who is 20 years old and is studying veterinary in Colombia. Because it's the name of the course, we put capitals. I am and have, you cannot do that. So we only use the verb to be to talk about our age. So I am 31 years old and have one daughter whose name is Amy, whose name is Amy. I might put a full stop. She is 5 years old. That's so cute. And is in Colombia studying in primary school. Okay, good. So good information about your family. Okay, one more and then we need to continue. So I think Adriano, I think Sebastian. Refresh because it's, yeah. So 2 more. I think I see Lewis and who's this one? No. Yes. Okay. Thank you for writing. My family is big. My dad, you don't need to say who. My dad is 55 years old. My mother, who is 57 years old. My 2. If you want to do the who, my family is big and is made up of. So that's how you put the who in here. So is made up of. That means my family is big and this is who's in it. It's like saying that. So my family is big and is made up of my dad, who is 55 years old, my mother, who is 57 years old, my 2 older siblings, and my niece, who is 12 years old. They all live in Colombia. So good, full stop, new sentence, full stop, new sentence. My brother has a dog, and we usually, if you know if it's a male or female, we could say my brother has a dog and her name. Now we tend to say him and her for dogs because, you know, people like pets and they like to think of them as family. So now we don't say it, but we say her or him. So that's how we do it. So if you see someone, they're walking their dog, you say, oh, your dog is so cute. Usually you'd say, is it a boy or girl? And then they will say, oh, it's a girl. And that's why you say, oh, she's so cute. Then you'll correct yourself and say, she's so cute. So we tend to not say it for animals. And that's why you first find out, is it a boy or girl? You do say it until you know if it's a boy or girl. So my brother has a dog and her name is Kayla. And my parents' dog is Tara. Yep, good sentence. Sebastian. Okay, now we have Sebastian and then we'll go to the next part. My mom's name is Carmen, full stop. So a good way to know when to put a full stop is because the next word is a subject. I, you, he, she, it, they, we, or it could just be the name of something. So my mom's name is Carmen. She is a stylist. I have 2 half siblings from my mother. Well done, saying from my mother. Their name, they are, that's not the right there. So that's the one that we use when we're talking about like their books are over there, their houses, when I'm talking about an object of theirs, but I want to use the subject they are because I'm talking about job, name, age, location, whatever. So we need the subject, not the other one. So they are students. My daughter's name is Gabriella Sophia. Full, to connect that, who is 2 years old. So cute. Brooklyn is my dog's name. Well done. They all live in Colombia. Yep, Very good. Okay, so thanks guys for sharing that. What we really were trying to do was use the verb to be. I am, you are, he is, she is, it is. It is something that's not alive, like the table, it, the phone, it, the laptop, it. So when it's an animal, I then might say she or he because it's something that's alive. But if it's not alive, then it's it. The day, it is so beautiful. It's usually not a person, I mean. So we were using the verb to be. We also were talking about knowing. We use it when we talk about name, age, location, and whatever. Okay, but let's continue. The face of 7 billion people. So now we're going to talk about numbers and percentages. So let's listen to these numbers.
Track 10, Unit 1C.
1 billion, 1.3 billion, 3.5 billion, 5.5 billion, 7 billion, 23%, 38%, 51%.
Okay, so we have some numbers in the billion and also with the percentage. So let's read the text about the face of 7 billion people. We're going to read it and then we're going to match which of these sentences go with the paragraph. So I can see the title is The Face of 7 billion people. See you tomorrow. I can see the introduction, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs. So we need to read it and then find the information from here to answer question 2. Okay, but we have an audio, so let's listen to it, and then I'll let you read it again for yourself.
Track 11, Unit 1C. The face of 7 billion people. There are 7 billion people in the world, and there are 7,000 people in this photo. Each person in the photo is equal to 1 million people. That's 7 billion in total. Age. The average age of all the people in the world is 28. Population. 20% of the world's population live in China. There are 1.3 billion people in India.
Okay, I'll give you 1 minute just to have a reread. And to also then just reread it, because we'll do the questions number 2 together. So don't worry about answering the questions, just reread it again, just 1 minute. Okay, so let's have a look. We had time to go over the article. Just before, these were some symbols that we learnt. So we have like 3.5 billion. So that's how we say it. The point is point. That's how we say it, not dot or full stop. So 1.3 billion, 3.5 billion, 5.5 billion. So that's the pronunciation. Of those symbols. Okay, so that's just really quickly before we continue. And percent. So we say it as percent, 23%, 38%, 51%. So it's only in speaking, because when you write the symbol, but in the speaking, you need to say point, if there's a point, or percent. Okay, so we had to read the text and we have some questions. So what is the number of people in the world? 7 billion. Yeah. Now this is old because I think the population now is 8 billion something. So 7, yeah, billion. 7 billion. The population of India? Yes, 1.3 billion. The number of speakers of English as a second language? 1 billion. The percentage of Muslims? 23%. The percentage of workers in agriculture? Agriculture is working on farm and, you know, to do with land and farm and nature. The percentage of workers in agriculture? 38%. And the percentage of people in cities? 51%. The number of people with internet? Perfect pronunciation, 3.5 billion. And the number of people with mobile phones? 5.5 billion. Good. So what we read, they call it a text. That just means like a writing. It's a text. You know, when you say text message, send me a text message. So it just means like writing. What we read, was it writing with facts? So facts means like true information. Like, for example, I always use this example. Colombia is in South America. That's a fact. It's true information. Everybody has to agree. No one's going to disagree. It's a fact, true information. An opinion is when someone says what they think. Like, for example, for me, I asked Gustavo today, I said, did you enjoy the great weather? He said, yes. I said, yeah, I agree. It was so beautiful today. I loved it. So that's my opinion, because not everybody likes hot weather. So opinion, everybody could have a different opinion. Everybody can have a different idea, a different thought, a different opinion. And a story is what's made up. It could be a story that's usually made up. You know, it could be like a traditional story. It could be a story about history, world events. That's what a story is. So what we read, the face of 7 billion people, is that writing with text, a text with facts? Is it a text with opinions, or is it a story? It's a text with facts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a text with facts. 3A. So again, that's the definition of a fact. True information. Opinion is just what I think, believe, my thoughts, my ideas. Let's look at some everyday verbs. So these are just very basic, verbs: to have, to live, to speak, to use, and to work. Now, I haven't put them in past, present, future. So that's why I said to have, to live, to speak, to use, and to work. So when you have a verb and you haven't changed, you haven't yet put it into past, present, future, it's very good to learn it this way: to have, to live. Why? Because we have some verbs that are to be upset. So that gives you a clue that this verb, to be upset, you must put to be in front of it before you have after the subject. So to have, to live, to speak, to use, and to work. We're going to be looking at the present simple here. And in the present simple, we don't put an ed because we're not talking about the past. We don't put an ing. It's just the verb. So it's subject, verb. But be careful, because for he, she, it, there is an S. So it's I have, you have, but then have is he has. Or I'll do this one. It's I live in Australia. You live in Colombia, but he lives in Brazil. I speak English, you speak Portuguese. He speaks Spanish. So these are just everyday verbs, very basic verbs, and we're just putting them in the present simple. So let's look at some sentences. 1.4 billion people, something in China, live. Yeah, so 1.4 billion people live in China. So live. %70 of the population speak the language of Mandarin Chinese. Over 1.3 billion Chinese people have a mobile phone. 25% of the population work in agriculture. 55% of the Chinese use the internet. 55% of Chinese people use the internet. Okay, good. Another interesting word, it's a preposition, is in. And in, we use it with phrases. Phrases just means like groups of words, like in a country, in a city, in a job. So that's why it's like, I work in a cleaning company. Or you could say for, but I work in a cleaning company. I live in Adelaide, Australia. I live in Australia. So that's how we use this preposition. Must be used before a country, a city, or a type of work. So which one, the first sentence, it says 21 million people live in Mexico City. Is the rule from A, B, or C?
B.
B, because it's a city, Mexico City. There are 65 million people in the UK. Yeah, it's a country, UK. It comes from the first rule, A. 40% of the population work in the service industry. Yeah. 49% live in the countryside. Yep, back to B. Okay, I'll just give you 1 minute. Write just one sentence with using in. So either you could talk about, I know you did it before and you're writing, you know, all my family live in Colombia. So just one sentence. We just want one sentence with the word in. You could talk about a country, a city, or a type of job. The subject could be you, could be someone else, whatever. Okay, we'll come back in 1 minute. Okay, so for example, these were some sentences from some other students. There are 20 million people in Colombia. In Brazil, the main sport is football. 3 million people live in Cali, Colombia. And Brazil is the 7th most populated country in, yes, who said the world? That was a mistake, should have had the. Okay, so Brian. Is it Brian, how I pronounce it? Yeah, Brian. What's your sentence?
My parents and my brother live in Colombia.
Yeah, my parents and my brother live in Colombia. Perfect sentence. George. No sentence?
I think 5%
Mm.
in Colombia have one.
Have what?
Have one.
Have mobile phones? Yeah, so 95% of Colombians have, no, you have to use the word in your sentence. 95% of people in Colombia, okay, yeah, have mobile phones. Perfect. Jimena.
Of the woman in Colombia live.
Yeah, you don't need of. So 10% of Colombian women. Okay, because we want to practice in. 10% of women in Colombia play soccer. Perfect. So 10% of women in Colombia play soccer. Sebastian.
80,000 people live in my town.
Perfect. 90,000 people live in my town. Good sentence. Okay, we won't. Did anyone want to tell me theirs if they're worried it could be wrong? Yes. Yeah. So whatever percent of, you should say of Venezuelan people live in Colombia. Yeah. So how many percent? No, how many? Wow. Wow. So 40% of Venezuelan people live in Colombia. Wow. They must come maybe for work. There's better work. I don't know. Or other reasons. Okay, good. So almost 40%, you could change that. So it's an easy number. Sometimes we like to make our percentage near to the, so it's easier to remember. So almost 40% of Venezuelan people live in Colombia. Okay, so almost. We can, just to make it, it's easier to remember, almost 40%. And good using in. Okay, so what are we going to do next? We're going to go in groups and we're going to do exercise 8 and exercise 9 in our groups. So we'll get into groups and then we'll come back and share.